Okay, I'm gonna get to the point straight off the bat with this video. Star Wars The Last Jedi was probably one of the most anticipated films of this year for me. I've been a fan of this franchise since I was a kid, hoping to get the same feeling that the older blokes must have got from the original trilogy back in the day. I had high hopes that Disney would tie the bow on this gift that was all the plots and subplots from The Force Awakens and the new lore they've created from all these books they've been commissioning in the past year or two, and that god-awful game Star Wars Battlefront 2 that EA made. And I saw a lot of nostalgia moments that reminds me of the epic scenes from the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, the old expanded universe material and stuff like that. This film did bloody well for nostalgia. The film done exceptionally well in regards to visuals. And most importantly for me, because it's the field I like to work in, it did bloody amazing in regards to sound and music. And that's me ignoring the fact that there's sound in space in Star Wars, but ignore that. But none of this, and I mean none of it, can boost up this film if Disney and their writers were just going to destroy everything, and I mean everything, after every single bit of greatness. I'll say this right now, Star Wars The Last Jedi is not a bad film in my opinion, but Star Wars The Last Jedi is probably the most disappointing film I have ever watched. The bow on this gift wasn't left open and untied. It was pulled so tight that the gift within was crushed into nothing. Just in case you don't know how the internet works, expect spoilers ahead. You've been warned. Now, when I saw the trailer for this film, I was instantly hooked, something that I never ever usually allow to happen. But there was something about the music at the end that just gripped me. It was that theme from the original score for the original trilogy, that theme, just the brass doing it, just nostalgia everywhere. You know, be careful, I want to say that word a lot, but still. It wasn't until I took a step back, sat down for about 10 minutes, looked into the sky through my window and thought to myself, core blimey, they could either make history with this or make a colossal fuck up with this, couldn't they? Now, I assumed that they'd make the film cheesy, predictable, but overall what we expected. And for the most part, that wasn't the case. For the most part. But what was so insulting, so inconceivable, so upsetting, so heartbreaking, so plot breaking. See what I did there? I just built up your anticipation, made a massive build up and let it drop into nothing. That is exactly what this film does with the majority of the plots and subplots from The Force Awakens and the new lore that they are trying to create. There is so much that is still unexplained in this film. I guess I had to read all the books and comic books that they're going to release soon, right after, right? Usually what I've done in the past with Star Wars content I haven't understood prior to Disney taking over, and other franchises for that matter, was to take a look on their wiki pages. Like, they have the Wikipedia for Star Wars. I just take a look on there. That's how I know so much about Star Wars. But I doubt even the people who make those bloody pages will be able to fill in all the details of this shit. I have no idea how to answer the questions I have. How the hell is the Resistance so feeble after just destroying a massive planet base filled with a massive laser that runs off the power of the planet? How on earth is the First Order so powerful after just losing that very same planet-destroying planet base in comparison to the seemingly small group of rebels that they are eradicating in this film? Sorry, Resistance. How did Captain Phasma survive the destruction of Starkiller Base after being thrown down a garbage hatch? What the fuck happened to the Knights of Ren? Why the fuck did you hype up Snoke to be so powerful, so imposing, such a huge threat to the entire galaxy, and even go as far as to display that through his actions in the film with the few scenes that it was in, only to destroy it in such an insultingly cringeworthy way? How on earth is Rey so powerful after it's now been proven that she had no training prior to meeting Luke? In fact, Luke didn't even train her, and her parents are apparently nothing important. And the biggest criticism I have, what made them believe that it was so clever, so cunning, to disrespect the characters of Luke and to a lesser extent Leia? In regards to the Resistance being so feeble, we got little to no explanation as to what happened. Like, what happened to the New Republic? Isn't Leia meant to be part of that? And why isn't she able to get help if she's meant to be part of that? Like, no explanation. Like, we have no idea about what's happened. They just brush over it almost. It doesn't explain where the First Order ships came from and why they weren't at Starkiller base when the attack was going on in the first place. But either way, this is probably the most forgivable out of all of them. To add insult to injury, the First Order's fleet is unable to destroy them all until the plot demands it. The bipolar Vice Admiral, whatever her name is, Holdo I think, has this unnecessary tension with Poe, only to have her die in such a silly way that should have been so epic. Instead of not telling Poe, instead of waiting until half the bloody rebel transport ships got destroyed, why not tell him the plan and destroy Snoke's dreadnought straight away, saving so many lives, so many ships, so much resources? Disabling the First Order's ability to track them through hyperspace? It's such a foolish way to handle such an amazing idea. That's what makes it so horrible. And in regards to Phasma, it does nothing to explain how she survives. And what's funny is that they'll probably make some comic book explaining it, or the, God forbid, Forces of Destiny. If they put in that, I swear to God, Disney. It makes you think that Disney, LucasArts, Rian Johnson, the writing team, whatever, had this tendency to hype up everything to sell their products instead of creating something original and executing it well. They hyped up the fight between Phasma and Finn, and it actually delivered with this one. It was bloody badass, but it means nothing if you're going to leave us with so many unanswered questions. It was such a waste of a good actor. Gwendolyn Christie is probably one of my top 20 actors ever. She deserves so much more screen time for her character, so much more explanation, exposition. J.J. Abrams created the foundation for such a great character, and Rian Johnson just threw her away like a used condom. And the Knights of Ren, after all the visions, after all the speculation, after everything, they just pretended like the Knights of Ren didn't exist almost. Not one reference that is memorable. Did the new writers forget that they existed? Did they not read the source material from The Force Awakens? It was very stupid of them. Episode 9 better bring that thing back. Better bring back the Knights of Ren, because they were hyped up to be so much more. Don't the Knights of Ren serve Kylo Ren and Snoke? Shouldn't they be around just as much as the elite Praetorian Guards? And Snoke, oh god, Snoke. All the hype, all the fucking hype. Oh my god, we might as well call the new series Hype Wars. They built up this character so well, only to shit on him in the most disappointing way possible. I was loving his scenes. They made him look so good, almost godlike. There was that bit where he was reading Kylo Ren's mind, whilst foaming at the mouth at the point where he's gonna kill his enemy, he was saying, implying Rey, obviously. And then Kylo just stabs him with Anakin's second lightsaber. Just let that sink in. This bloke is meant to be the next Palpatine. He's so powerful, but he can't recognise that Kylo Ren, the person whose mind who he's reading at that very moment, is moving the lightsaber that's next to him to stab him in his abdomen. Really? Just let that sink in. All the hype that this guy was going to be the most powerful Force wielder since Sidious, and they just kill him off like that? All I'm saying is that they better bring him back in the next episode somehow. Speaking of Anakin's lightsaber, Kylo and Rey, after teaming up, they go against each other again. They just tore it apart. Like, no fucks given. Destroyed the lightsaber as if it hasn't been one of the most important objects for symbolism in the entire franchise. Oh, God, give me strength. It's almost like they were scared. Scared that the people would start to dislike Rey, Finn, and to some extent, Poe. So they tried to make Luke seem a little bit weaker, to make the new characters look a little bit better. Maybe? Is that what you're trying to do, Disney? Make a character who isn't special because of bloodline, like Luke, seem powerful so that you can make all the new little kiddie fans think to themselves and say, "Yay, I love Star Wars now! It makes me know that I don't need to be powerful, or famous, or hero to be special! Anyone can be powerful, yay!" A morally good message to the kids, but completely destroyed because of the hype they instigated into making us think that she was special because of those things in the previous film. They didn't need to allude to this. Oh wait, they did. How else were they going to trick people into buying tickets to watch this mess? You got us good there, Disney. Well played, I say. Well played. And the goddamn Leia scene, where we think she dies. That would have been a great way to end it. Nah. Let her survive the vacuum or space somehow with no protection, as if she's Plo Koon from the bloody Clone Wars, and allow her to float through the door while she's unconscious, by the way. And also with Luke, his death was rubbish. They should have had the confidence to let him go to Creighton face Kylo Ren, Or at least let him survive the fucking projection thing that they had going on. Just letting him die because he was tired or fatigued or at peace or whatever wasn't good enough. Even the Yoda scene disappointed me. It was put there for nostalgia value and nothing else. No symbolism, no words that I can remember off the top of my head. There was no
do or do not. There is no try.
That could have made Luke decide, cool, let me get in this fight. Lift up his X-Wing from the water with the Force like in episode 5 to try and save them, which would have been cliche, but bloody hell, that would have been epic. And I was hoping for that, I'll be honest with you. I was hoping for a few cliches at least, and I knew it was going to be badly received if the expected was going to happen, but as close to the end as I got, I wanted the predictable to happen. At least it would have been somewhat good. After that shit with VA Star Wars Battlefront 2 being so horrible that Disney had to step in and intervene, I had high hopes that Disney actually made something worth them defending, but it seems I was wrong. But the film isn't bad. That's the worst thing for me. They had funny moments, loving moments, and as I said before, nostalgia-filled moments, like the scene where Luke is in that vision hologram thing, and he comes in through the cave, kisses Leia on the head, saying a metaphor along the lines of someone who's dead is always with us or something. A little nod to Han Solo, but also to Carrie Fisher, Leia's actor, who passed a year minus a week ago. He then goes out and confronts Kylo and survives the barrage from the ATM-6 walker things, which was epic at first, because I was like, oh my god, he is really powerful, isn't he? The bits where funny banter prevailed, like when Luke tells Rey to reach out with the Force and then he tickles her with a leaf or whatever the fuck that was. It was funny as fuck. And the scenes, the epic scenes, where Kylo Ren and Rey are in their little vision things, they were bloody fun. It was good for them to explore new things with the Force. And the Rey and Ren team up against the Praetorian Guards. That was epic as fuck. The Phasma vs. Finn fight was epic as fuck. I loved it. They were nothing like I'd seen before in the live-action Star Wars universe. Even the battles in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith with the Jedi couldn't have topped this. Whilst I was watching that fight, I had little flashbacks to scenes from Star Wars The Clone Wars and even the lesser animated series Star Wars Rebels, which are considered canon by the way. There was one scene where one of the Praetorian Guards had that light whip and was fighting Rey with it. And it brought back memories to the slave arc in Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 4 where Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka and Captain Rex were fighting against the Zygerian slavers with whips, the light whips and some Colosseum thing. I even got flashback to the old video games from back in the day as well, which unfortunately isn't canon anymore, but they somehow managed to creep back into my mind and give me chills. The way the Force was used in this was bloody amazing as well. The way Snoke force grips Rey and moved her around the room as if she was a piece of paper was absolutely hilarious. What they did with the Force connection between Rey and Kylo was also amazing to see. Even the Force torturing scene between Snoke and Rey, bloody amazing. It was dark. But all of that means nothing. Absolutely nothing if you're just going to destroy it with these inconsistencies, with these cringeworthy moments and wasted opportunities, embarrassing plot conveniences, and with these unexplained truths. It means nothing. I'll tell you this right now. Star Wars Episode 9 better fix this, otherwise I'm done. I'm done with the Star Wars franchise, and it pains me to say it. After Lucas sold the brand to Disney and Disney replaced the already established canon, destroyed Star Wars The Clone Wars as soon as it actually started to explain how the Force works and almost redeem Anakin's character from the prequel appearances, and allowed the corrupt corporations like EA to ruin the new canon with their dumbass games. Star Wars has become the very thing that we, and to some extent George Lucas, probably never wanted it to become. Now, in fairness, we will probably never ever truly know what George Lucas intended. And after the flack he got from the prequels, I can see why he decided to just give it away and get some money from it. We gave Lucas so much praise for the original trilogy, and when he tried to do something new, we butchered him for it. Even though Anakin's character portrayal wasn't amazing in the prequels, and fucking Jar Jar Binks was just annoying, I just prefer all of that compared to what Disney's done with the new trilogy and the canon so far. We probably won't even get to know if it's the fault of the new writer Rian Johnson who took over from J.J. Abrams, or if this is just Disney trying to make a new half-assed Star Wars film just to attract a new generation of fans, and also the current fanboys and fangirls into falling in love head over heels with their new baby franchise so that they can buy merchandise, allow them to build some new Disneyland-esque type theme park for the Star Wars brand to make as much money as they possibly can off of them. It also makes me wonder why that bloke Colin Trevorrow got fired. Did he have different creative visions? Was he bad at his jobs, or did Disney just have a feeling he didn't think of the bigger picture that they had in mind? And do you know what that is? Money! That dollar, bitch! You know, Mark Hamill was right. And I'm glad I was skeptical before going in. I'm glad I didn't go into this film optimistic like a lot of people were. A lot of people thought he was mad that he didn't get a bigger role in The Force Awakens and that he was just being a petulant child, but no, Mark Hamill was right. He was right when he said these amazing words about Hollywood.
It's not important if it's of high quality, only if it makes money.
He was spot on with that. Remember this, Disney is in fact one of those corporations, and I'd go as far to say that Electronic Arts and Disney are perfect matches for each other. Disney, listen here. You have one more chance to hook us. To hook me. And I was about to say that you better not fuck this up again because of my love of the Star Wars franchise. But to be honest, maybe it's better if this and you crashes and burns. It would allow you to learn not to fuck up, not to fuck with your consumers just to get as much money as possible. I hope you can learn, Disney. I hope you do. Harshly.